rappers at?
Sometimes love comes and goes away. Every time I think just how much you mean to me. Oh, I have kept my faith in us all this time, understanding how much it's meant to be. Yeah, I appreciate what we have. There is no turning back. On the right path to you and I. So let's take our time and make it right, because this is what we've dreamed of all the time. I appreciate what we have. There is no turning back. Celebrate two as one. Life has just begun. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate everywhere. We can do this all night long. Come on now. Celebrate you and me. Love will be eternally. There's no way we can go wrong. Come on, take my hand. Let's get to moving, moving. Gonna make it last forever, yeah. We don't have to rush, cause we have all night. Let's celebrate all through our lives. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate everywhere. We can do this all night long. We can do it, baby. Celebrate you and me. Love will be eternally. There's no way we can go wrong. Celebrate the love we share. Celebrate everywhere. We can do this all night long. to be with you. I'd go anywhere just to be with you. 'Cause when you hold me, I feel it deep inside, and you know it. You feel the same way too. Oh, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't give just to be with you. Yeah, I do what it takes just to be with you. And share all my world just to be with you. You're making my dreams come true. Every little thing you do, you know you got a place in my heart, and nothing, no one can keep us apart. 'Cause when you hold me, I feel it deep inside, and you know it. You feel the same way too. Oh, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't give just to be with you. I'd do anything just to be with you. I'd go anywhere just to be with you. I'd do what it takes just to be with you. I'd share all my world just to be with you. Just to be with you. Just to be with you. Just to be with you.
Everywhere I go, there you are. Everywhere I turn, well, I can't fight this feeling in my heart. No, no, I can't explain this feeling. It's called love. But every time I get the fever, I get lost. Oh, how I've waited for you, oh, so long. And love, I'm ready to surrender. Take hold. Everywhere I turn, the echoes of your presence fill my heart. Every time we Love, look what you've done. I've heard every word you've spoken. Our lives have just begun. I give my heart without measure. I'm in ecstasy. Love, sweet release. Oh yeah, love, sweet release. Do 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 do. So love, got my attention and love. I give you permission. Love, use your discretion. Love, I'll never let you go. Never let you go. Never let you go, my love. 'Cause every time we meet, every time we touch, it's sweet love. Every time you speak, you knock me to my knees. I breathe love. It's called
Hi, I'm John Vargas, and I'm a singer-songwriter. My love for the bossa nova started as a young child, where I recall Jobim's Girl from Ipanema was playing on all of the radio stations. It was everywhere. In my 20s, I found an independent radio station that was playing classic Brazilian bossa nova. It was pure delight discovering the songs of the most popular bossa nova artists from the 1950s and 60s. In 2013, my son David and I began composing our own bossa nova songs for release on our 510 Jazz albums and singles. I read a superb book from author Rui Castro, which tells the story of the bossa nova founders like Antonio Carlos Jobim, Vinicius de Moraes, Elis Regina, Roberto Menescal, and so many others. Their songs tell stories of the simple pleasures in life, like sun, sand, and sea. These songs possess such exquisite musicality with an air of elegance and simplicity. Amid these legendary musicians is João Gilberto. He started singing popular songs in the early 50s to the pioneers of the world's most beautiful musical genre, the bossa nova.
Hello, I'm David Vargas, also known as D-Varg from all the 510 Jazz albums. I'm a rapper, a songwriter, and a music engineer. I've listened to bossa nova as far back as I can remember. Memories from my childhood come to mind as my father John would sing and listen to Antonio Carlos Jobim tunes. What's striking to me is how my journey has come full circle. It's really been a blessing from God to work on bossa nova originals with my father, John Vargas, my family members, and of course all the stellar musicians who breathe musical life into our lyrics and melodies. From acoustic nylon to the electric guitar, flute, strings, keys, vibes, drums, sax, and percussion, all nicely intertwined creatively working together. Not to mention the singers who constantly inspire and champion bossa nova with us, each musician adding their own flair and style. This is bossa nova, how it should be, and this is our album. This is your album, a musical representation. This is the bossa nova.
the climbing jasmine and a lemon tree, green fruit everywhere. Flowers bring the nectar that he needs. When he comes in the early spring, so full of color, plumage ranging from bright shining green into a flash of blue. In the blink of an eye, he's a blur across my vision, softly humming as he moves along. Hummingbird of springtime, now you are leaving, flying to the warmth of Central America. May those warm winds carry you to where everything is blooming. Will you find the sweetness that your life needs? Through the autumn and the winter, as the winds of change will bring the rains that give this place new life. Through it all, I await the springtime breeze, here in a garden where the hummingbird calls home. Hummingbird of springtime, now you are leaving, flying to the warmth of Central America. May those warm winds carry you to where everything is blooming. Will you find the sweetness that your life needs? Hummingbird of springtime.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Indie Live spot right here on YouTube. We're streaming live today, and we're very excited about today. Of course, we have a return guest, good friend, Mr. John Vargas of 510 Jazz is here, as you can see. Welcome. Welcome. And, of course, David, the other, his son, David, is going to be here a little bit later in the show. So, welcome, Mr. John. How you doing, man?
We're delighted to be here. Thanks so much. Yeah, David will be in shortly, like you said.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Cool, cool. Yeah. Well, great, man. It's great to have you here because, you know, we're very excited about your new project, you know, the Bossa Nova. We played the introduction, which is very nice. I love that because it's you and David both narrating as you come into the album, man. Tell us a little bit about it, man, because that's just awesome. I love the whole vibe of it.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, as you know, we met you in early 2016 when we had first come out with our first album, Bossa 510, and then we joined you again in 2018 when we came out with that second album. And on both of those albums, we probably had about 30-40% bossa nova songs. I've always loved that genre of music, and David really quickly picked it up, and he started working with me, and of course we write all these songs together. And so finally in 2019 we decided let's work on an album that's entirely dedicated to the bossa nova genre of music. So it was really a labor of love, but it's nice that it was a smaller album, you know, just 7 tracks compared to the 16 tracks of the other 2 albums. And it's just an amazing story when you look back. I mean, I mentioned this book by the author Rui Castro. It's called Bossa Nova: The Story of the Brazilian Music that Seduced the World.
Yeah.
It's an amazing book, and it goes over a couple of hundred different personalities that many of you are familiar with. Of course, Antonio Carlos Jobim, Vinicius de Moraes, João Gilberto, and so many others, starting in the probably early 1950s. And interestingly, the music was pretty much done by 1970 because of big political changes in Brazil, but really fascinating stories. And so we thought we want to create these songs, our own sort of type of, our own rendition of these songs, but original. And so that's what we came up with, is these 6 songs. And 4 of them are really what we feel to be close to bosses as possible, and 2 of them are more like sambas. They're a little more happy, upbeat songs. But it was a delightful process to put these together, and it's always a real joy to write these songs with my son David.
Yeah. Very nice, man. Definitely love the flavor. I love the whole vibe, like I said, of the whole project. And like I said, ever since we first had you come on, like I said, it's been great to and just a refreshing events of having music on this show to bring that style, because I always have loved that. So kudos to you guys, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and I love to dance off of it, if I could still dance.
Yeah.
I love to dance off of it, on the samba. I love the music.
Oh, good. Yeah, samba is amazing. And I found it interesting that bossa nova is a mix of the original Brazilian samba, which I probably think came out of maybe the 1930s or so, and jazz. So they sort of mixed the 2 things together and came up with this new style, which new back in 1960. But
Right.
Samba, like you're saying, Raymac, is delightful. And every year when they have Carnival, it's all about samba. They have
Tell me about it. Tell me about Carnival.
Yeah.
Because when you get to think about Carnival, then you think about the Mardi Gras.
Yes.
It's all comes from. It's the same.
Yep.
And that's all.
And
Yes.
Fat Tuesday, where you got to eat up all your fatty foods before you go into Lent, and no one's eating meat for 40 days.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm a carnivore. I love meat.
Yeah.
Yes. Not a vegetarian.
Good for you. Yeah,
What
me
did
too.
you say, Chris?
I said, no, what a shock. What a shock that you
I'm a
love meat.
carnivorous.
I'm going to die right now.
Yeah, Mac, you look like a meat eater.
Because whenever he gets hungry like a wild animal. That's according to him.
I do. But,
Well, and you guys in Texas have some pretty famous places. Like, isn't there one called Whataburger where they have these gigantic hamburgers? I mean,
Yes, we even got it
Yeah.
here in
Yeah.
Oklahoma too.
Yep. I
Yeah.
love whatever. Yes. Everything, because the burgers is Texas size. Because the medium
Wow.
drink is basically like the size of a large at another fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
And the large is like the massive, chunk of soda there.
They had one
That's why I like Whataburger.
They had one hamburger joint in Oklahoma. It was called Big Ed Hamburger. Remember that, G?
I do.
Boy, that was a huge hamburger. You feed 4 or 5 people on that one hamburger.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was one of those
Fan of ham-
type of places where if you eat the whole thing, they give it to you free and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, John, also I wanted to ask you, now on this particular project, the Bossa Nova project, is it some of the same, or is it all the same artists, musicians and artists that you have? Is it the same?
I'm really glad you asked that. Yeah, the lineup has changed a bit.
Okay.
It's a smaller lineup because, as you know, in January 16, our 2018 release, we had 24 musicians. It was a little unwieldy, and that, it literally took a whole year just to get through the studio sessions. So,
Okay.
yes, it's a smaller. David and I are basically 510 Jazz, and we bring in all these musicians every time. So it's always us composing the music. And then in vocals, we had a return visit from our good friend Oshra Sedan and Maya Victoria. and a new young lady that we met at the local Jazz Search West. Her name is Anna Konstantopoulos, and now she's studying music in Greece. A brilliant vocalist. Yeah, so we're really happy to have her in the group. And Matt Black, he's an amazing Bay Area R&B vocalist. He's been working with a lot of rappers and doing a lot of solo work, but incredible vocalist. And then from the Berkeley Symphony, we have Matthew Zamella playing violin on two of the songs. Tom Povsey came back playing flute. John Lewis playing tenor sax on one song, and our friend Stan Muncy from the San Francisco Symphony playing vibes. He's a orchestral percussionist, but in a jazz setting, he plays the vibraphone. And of course, our standbys: Mark Rickey on keyboards, Marty Honda on bass, Posun Teng on drums, and David, who his day job over at the library, he met a wonderful percussionist named Jenny Ball. So Jenny is new to our group playing Latin percussion. So that's the lineup. It's a lot easier to work with this group.
Yeah.
And you said small, right?
Yeah. For us, that's small. Yeah, that's right.
It sounds like you have a great team. That's a blessing to have so many people to work with. Now, how long did it take you with a smaller team to do 7 tracks in this project?
Well, we started recording in February 2019, and because I mentioned to you earlier that David is now working on his master's degree, so he's quite busy, aside from his day job, and home life and everything. So we had less of David's time in the studio, so we decided let's release singles. So in July 2019, a year ago, we released Call to the Sea. Summer Rain was released in November, and then Three Little Words was released on Valentine's Day this year. So right after Three Little Words was released, we said, okay, now we're ready to package the whole album up. And so we had the 6 songs, and we decided to throw in song number 7, which is the Bossa Nova, just so we would have a title track, which is really, a spoken word dedication to the amazing genre of Bossa Nova music. But so it really took all of 2020 to produce all of these songs, whereas Call to the Sea, we started a little earlier. But it was a pretty big amount of work because David, as producer and engineer, he is really a perfectionist. So he spends a lot of time making it just right. And David introduced us to an amazing guy, Sean Hatfield, at Audible Oddities Studios in San Francisco that does our mastering now. We were working with Moby Dick in Malaga, Spain for 2 years, and a great mastering studio. But it was a bit of a, not too easy working with a European studio to get the mastering done. So it's nice that we get our mastering done here in San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah, at least
Did you
can
say
put
Moby
your hands
Dick?
on
Yeah.
it.
Interesting. They call it Moby Dick Recording Studio. A guy, his name is Donnie. I forgot his last name, but Donnie is his first name. But he's got a nice studio there. He's got enough room to have like a 5-piece jazz combo. He's got a live room, and then he's got an ISO booth. We were on a family vacation in 2015, and we went to Malaga. And David, he's always about looking into studios, and he looked him up, contacted the guy, and said, "Yeah, come on down to the studio." And he gave us a tour, and we said, "Hey, can you master our new album?" So we did that on 2 consecutive albums. He did a fantastic job, but it's just working with a European studio, it's a bit of back and forth. So it's nice to have a mastering studio close to home.
So John, you do all the writing of the music, right?
Yeah, we compose everything.
You do all the composing.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah,
Doesn't David co-write with you as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. I a lot of times will come up with the chord progressions, and about 2 years ago I picked up an ukulele, so I'm using that a little bit to help myself get the chords down, and then I'll create the charts, and we'll bring in the studio musicians to get the rhythm tracks laid down. But in the writing, David is composing just as much melody as I am. And then, of course, he's writing lyrics, and as you know, when the songs involve rap, he's writing about twice the amount of lyrics. It's amazing to me, when you look at maybe doing a melodic verse, you might be writing 100 words. A rapper might be writing 200 words.
Right.
Yeah.
and their syncopation is right on with the drums. But yeah, and then David excels at writing the hook, which, as you know, is an incredible part of the song. So he is just legendary at writing hooks. And so yeah, that's kind of the split between us. He does more of the heavy lifting, and I do the basic melody and the chord progressions. So
Oh, you do the light work, huh?
yeah, that's right.
Well, I think you guys just discovered what your strengths are, and
Yeah.
it's not light or heavy. It's just what you do best, and you guys come together. You know how they said corporations said they could put 10 employees in a room, and one of them is going to have a great idea. So,
Yeah.
but and you guys, I like that too. And he's your son, and
Yeah.
you know he's someone you can trust. That's even better to
Yeah.
have both of you that talent. No, well, not under one roof because you said now he's on his own. He's married,
that's right.
kids, but a kid, no
Yeah.
children, no
He's got a
house.
dog. Yep.
No pressure, David. Okay, sorry about that. No pressure. Because your dad's looking out for you. He's not going to pressure you.
Yeah.
But you're right. Go ahead, Ray Max. Sorry.
No, he's doing a lot of writing for a lot of rappers also, right?
Yeah, that's the neat thing about David. About every 2 years we'll release a 510 Jazz release, and then throughout that given year, he might be working on one or two other projects with other collaborators. We have like D. Vargas Act 1, which he put out a whole album this year, which is Christian rap. And then there's another collaborator that he works with in San Diego named 80. So yeah, he's got a few different collaborators that he works with under his own releases. So he keeps himself real busy. When he's not writing, he's also engineering and producing. So yeah,
Wow.
busy guy.
If he's writing a lot of lyrics for rappers, boy, I'll tell you, because they can sure spit it out.
He sure can.
They can
Absolutely.
spit it out.
And what a different
No
skill
pun
set.
intended.
Yeah.
That's all right. We're protected by this shield here. We won't have to worry about that.
This force field called my screen.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I know we talked about this in prior shows, but we may have new listeners. Would you tell the listeners, how did you get started in music? Why music?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Joyce, and thanks for asking. I've always loved music ever since I was a little kid. I mean, I remember hearing The Girl from Ipanema when I was like 4 or 5 years old. It was playing on all the radio stations back then because it had just come over from Brazil. But then, growing up in the 70s, listening to rock and roll, and I think it was in the 80s I started hearing jazz on the radio. David had a different path. I mean, I can remember as young as maybe 15 years old, he started listening to hip hop and rap music. And so all the while I've enjoyed music, he's enjoyed music, but when he went away to college, he started writing his own music. He started collaborating with other rappers and they call them producers, but they're really creating the beats, right? He'd be working with them, putting together songs and releasing stuff back in his college days. And when he came home, I said, I'd really like to start putting some of my own stuff out on YouTube, but I really don't want to get sued for copyright infringement. And he said, why don't you write your own songs? So 2012 was a year of discovery. I'm sure you guys have seen that, where in the early part of your songwriting career, you might be writing really stuff that never saw the light of day. And then in 2013, 16 songs David and I wrote back to back, and they all sounded good enough to release, and so we packaged that up. But it was David's push to get me to write my own originals, and he had been writing originals all along. So that was our transition, and it was a rocky start because in 2014 we got a recording contract with a studio out of Berkeley to release that first album, and sadly after 5 recording sessions the producer passed away. So after about 5 months of legal probate, and luckily everything was copyrighted on our side. And then we did it ourselves. We decided to create 4Play Studios. It's our house, and my wife is an angel because she allows us to turn the house upside down for recording sessions, and then everything goes back in the garage and we're done. So that's how it all started. And, by December 2015, that first album was out.
That's
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
Sounds like your path was laid out for you.
Interesting.
Did you play any instruments, or were you in a band growing up? Any bands, whether it's marching band or, party band, rock band, when you were growing up?
I've always liked singing, the typical singing in the shower, singing when you're alone when no one can hear your horrible sounds. But in, I think it was 1980 or so, I started working at this company, and there was a guy in the electronics test area that played guitar. And he said, I want to get together this Christmas band. So for 9 years, I worked with them. When I was working at that company, we would practice for like 3 months, and then we would do the big Christmas show. And as the company grew, I think at the peak, they had like 2,000 people at the show. So that was kind of fun. And then around that time, our kids were just babies, and so really didn't do anything more except for listening, and of course listening to bossa nova music on a local little studio station. And all that time up until 2012, I just became an active, passionate listener of jazz. But yeah, the performance was in the 80s, and then we started performing again after we started writing. And for about a year and a half, we had a little jazz jam at a nearby city named Newark, which you guys know, the Bay Area. And so it was a pizza place. So I brought in a bunch of different local jazz musicians to play on Wednesday nights, and I hosted the jam session. And so that was a good way to get started. Took several classes. And to answer your question, Joyce, I'm a vocalist. So I would take these vocals classes, took a class at a nearby community college called Jazz Rock Combos, which was a wonderful class for anyone to take that's into vocals, because it shows you about onstage survival, how to mix with the band, the sight lines, how to communicate with them while you're playing, how to count in, all of those things. So I took that class like 4 times. It was so much fun. But, after that, we started doing our own performances and mostly studio work and distributing our own music online.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is cool. Yeah, and I can remember the first time, like I said, when I saw you guys on, it was right before I think it was right before we had you on our show, but it was like, of course, our time difference between, we're Central and you guys are Pacific, so that's a 2 hours difference. And I remember, I can't remember what time it was, but I remember I stayed up from like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning watching you guys play live at, I think you was at some type of college studio or something, or I think it was.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was Ohlone College. It's our community college here in Fremont, and they have a big theater that'll seat like 300 people. So every year in that jazz combos class, every session of that class, at the end, the final project is a performance at the Jackson Theater. So that was exciting, getting to perform in front of like 200 people in a big, like something like you would see a symphony hall. So yeah, that's what you're talking about, Gary. A lot of those videos people put on YouTube, and that was fun to look back on those.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you had 200 or 300 people in the audience. Boy, I'm telling you, that would have been a nice payday there.
It's true. You guys have all performed. It's the one thing that I learned at that is when you have a big, like a symphony hall like that, you almost can't see the audience at all because those floodlights are right in your face.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a trick just to make sure you stay on the stage, right? You don't want to walk off the floor.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, are your live shows on YouTube now where listeners can go and check it out?
Yeah, when you look up the 510 Jazz YouTube, as a matter of fact, if you just go to 510jazz.com, we have a link to the YouTube channel. But yes, there's several videos of our past shows, mostly at a venue named Angelica's in Redwood City. We did 3 shows there, and another venue called Phoenix. That there's some pretty nice videos there as well. I need to put more show videos up there, but yeah, it's nice to put those videos out there.
You mentioned that you are a vocalist, and of course you perform live. And tell me, out of everything that you do, from performing live, being a vocalist, being a composer, and a recording artist, which one of those is the most challenging, and why?
For me, live shows is the most challenging. Yeah, a little bit more than marketing. Marketing is number 2 for sure in terms of complexity and things that I really don't like, that I'm not very good at. But yeah, number 1 is absolutely getting live gigs. It's a complex process, and now that so many musicians haven't been doing live gigs for a while because of COVID-19, maybe it's an opportunity for me to try and get ourselves out there and get more gigs. But I mean, when we came out with January 16, I think we did 4 shows that year, and that was the most prolific we had ever been. With Bossa 510, I think we did 2 shows. We haven't done any shows at all because much of while we were releasing these songs was during the COVID-19 pandemic. But for me, that's the biggest challenge, is getting gigs, getting live gigs of any type. There's, as you know, Joyce, there's always an opportunity to get live gigs that don't pay. But when you have these session players that come with you on stage, they all want to be paid, and they deserve to be paid. And it's tough when you're working with venues that just will say, well, we'll give you dinner, we'll give you tips, or sometimes even less than that. So that's the big challenge for me. Number two, obviously, is marketing. That's a tough thing to get yourself out there, to put your distributed product out there and get people to come and listen to it. Because, I think that the folks who were putting music out in the 70s and 80s, they had the blessing that everyone was buying their LPs, everyone was buying their CDs, and everyone, of course, was going to their shows and buying their merch. But nowadays, everybody can get it from a lot of platforms that are practically free. So making money off of it is a tough thing. So I've heard so many people say this, that if you love it, how much money you make off of it is less important, and that's where we are. But on the flip side of what you asked, Joyce, my absolute favorite, without a doubt, is writing the songs. I love composing music, and it's a joy. We're in this little 7x7 space that I have here in the backyard shack, sitting out here at night, coming up with something, and when something just clicks, it's delightful. I'm mostly playing with Audacity to get the recordings down. I also use FL Studio, and then I go into Finale to create the charts. It's an exciting, fun time for me, and it's especially exciting when we go into the studio and have other vocalists sing our songs. I mean, when we started in this journey, I wanted to sing everything. I found out, oh my God, people like Maya Victoria and Oshra Sedan and Matt Black and Jamillions can make our songs sound incredibly beautiful. So as a composer, it's delightful to be executive producer in those sessions and see people take your compositions and bring them to life. So that's my favorite part. Yeah.
Well, John, let me give you some kind of idea on your marketing. You can take, look at some of the magazines like maybe Jazz Times, Downbeat, different, magazine, and send in an article and your videos, stage video. That would help you a lot too.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I like
Do
that.
you create music videos for your tracks or any of your tracks?
The only fully produced video that we've done is for the 2018 song "You're Everything to Me," and my wife was the director on that, and we had a videographer that came and did it, and it was all mostly shot on location in San Francisco. That came out really well, but we haven't done any produced videos like that since then. We've got several videos where we just basically put the song on there, or live stage shows where we have the stage performed song and we'll release it on YouTube. But yes, we need to do a lot more of that, especially since, like you're saying, the majority of what we're doing right now is distributing our music out there for the world to download, to stream. So it's a good idea to also come out with those videos too, to, like you're saying, to drive traffic to that. Yeah.
When
Great
you
idea.
guys had gone to Portugal,
Yeah.
too bad you didn't do like a video when you guys were there.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome, because the photos that you took and posted on Facebook, amazing.
Yeah.
This would have been a cool backdrop for a video.
Yeah, we have to go back.
Portugal, Portuguese people there.
Yeah.
And just to have that, just
That's
that,
a great idea.
especially when you're on the seaside, where you can see the ocean and all that. So it was kind of cool.
Well, excuse me, Grace. Well, you can take those photos that you have and sync it up to the music. There's your video.
Yeah, we got plenty of photos and a little bit of video, so that's a great idea, Grizz and Ray Mac. Thanks for that. Yeah, and that was delightful. The two places in particular was the Algarve, that southern coastal region of Portugal, just north of the Spanish border, and then the other ones you probably saw were on the Azore Islands, where my grandfather came from here in 1891. So it's just really beautiful out there, and the people are wonderful. I can't wait to go back again. But as you know, right now United States, Brazil, and Russia are not allowed into the EU at all until the whole COVID-19 thing calms down. So I hope next year will be the year we'll go back.
Well, whose fault is that?
All right, Mac. We know where the mute button is, okay? Hey, I'm just curious. Do you know how to speak Portuguese by chance?
Eu falo português muito pouco. I speak just a little bit of Portuguese.
Just a little bit. I actually understood that. Wow.
I mean,
So did I actually.
oh, great. Yeah, you know, the important things like where's the bathroom? How much does this beer cost? Those are important, right?
The important questions.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
when you was home, when you was in Portugal, I mean in Spain, did you happen to see any of your family? Found out in a relationship that was still around?
Well, that's fascinating. In mainland Portugal, no, because it turns out that we've lost touch with a lot of those Portuguese relatives. But in the Azores, yes, indeed. One cousin and her family still lives there, so it was delightful. I got to meet her. Sadly, she passed away last year, but her daughter and grandchildren all still live there. So we were really excited about going back there this year in 2020 to visit them because one of the daughters has a farm, a hydroponic farm where they grow strawberries and lettuce. So we were really excited about going to see their farm. We found a fabulous house on TripAdvisor that rents for, gosh, it's like $100 a week or something. It's incredible. It's beautiful. I'm sorry, $100 a night. But it's like a 3-story apartment that was built in 2014. So we have our place that we'll rent when we do go there. We were so excited to go, and then all of this happened.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're blessed right now having one family of cousins that still lives in the Azores.
Right.
Well, you might as well get on.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
What did you
You
say,
might-
Chris?
Strawberries. You said that
Oh, yes.
family grows as a hydroponic and they grow
Yeah.
strawberries. I'm like, strawberries.
Yeah, I love strawberries too.
Yum.
Yeah.
Well, your best shot would probably get on Ancestry, do your DNA, and find some more of your family members.
Well, I have to look onto the Irish side. My mom's side is the Irish side. They came to Canada in like the 1830s. And, it's funny. I think I may have mentioned to you before that I'm into amateur radio, ham radio. I put up a website like a decade ago when we were doing this amateur radio contest. And one of the Canadian relatives found it. No, my mom didn't keep touch with them. She came here to Oakland when she was like 2 years old. So she lost contact with them. Well, one of the Canadian relatives found us from my website, said, hey. So we started, my family went and visited them up in Montreal, and then we went and visited them this last year in Alberta. And they, of course, know some of the Irish relatives. So like you're saying, Ray-Mac, now we got to go to Ireland and see what that side of the family looks like. That's
Well,
exciting.
I think that's would be great because I got a cousin that's on. He's in there now. It's David Penny. I've never met him. Just talked to him on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, and and a lot of them come through the ancestry that I found a lot of my family members
Right.
and things like that. And I think that's a good tool because they got a lot of resources and documents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how you find them, by doing your DNA and keep moving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate that I have one cousin that her mother did all that work, so she continues on. She's older than me. She's probably in her 70s or so, but she has all of that work for the Portuguese side. And I believe that there's a cousin on the Irish side that's done all that. So I'm definitely going to be leveraging a lot of their hard work to see if we can find
Right.
some of the relatives,
Yeah, and then again, you might have something right there in the States you don't know about, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I know some people found a sibling they didn't know about. So
And we found a daughter just on Facebook. I ain't seen it 49 years. I found it. My son found it.
But I know personally by DNA ancestry check. Yeah, she found out she had a sister. So it's there's some. So be careful when you do DNA. Just get ready. You know what I mean. You never know. I did mine. Well, my brother did it. I said we have the same parents. So I looked at his. I said, oh, we have too many branches. There's too many branches. 6 or 7 countries in Africa, several in Europe, Native American, Native Mexican, way back somewhere from Belize. I'm like, okay, oh my God, that's just too many branches. I'll be up all night. But I want to know if you
I'm
go.
fine with it myself.
Do you ever perform when you go there? And do you ever go into Africa? Because, that's close. And, do you ever think about doing music there?
I
Performing?
would love to. We have not done it yet, but that's a great idea. And so we'll have to just look for some of those opportunities. My wife is the only person in our family that's been to Africa. She went to South Africa on a couple of business trips, and she just loved it. So I definitely would love to go to Africa and see some of those countries. There's so much beauty everywhere.
Yes, yes, because if you go to Portugal, you can go to Africa. Maybe not south, that's a little bit longer trip, but you're right there. And one thing about Europe, all the countries are relatively small in Europe, so you can cover a few countries. And I would love to do that, but of course, right now, nobody wants the U.S. in their country right now.
Yeah. And you're right, Joyce. When you're in southern Spain, you're seeing signs everywhere for ferries to Africa, because you can take a ferry. I don't know how long it takes, a few hours to get across the channel there to Africa. So yeah, it's very close.
Oh, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I guess
And
when
bring my
it's all this,
saxophone.
I guess when all this COVID, if they don't keep us in it for the next 2 years, I'm planning on going to Tanzania. I have an uncle that spent like between 40 and 50 years in Tanzania.
Bless you.
So that's my plan.
That sounds delightful.
Yes.
But I think it would really be cool if David would be with you and you take your music and perform, sell CDs, and just make that pleasure trip into some, business and promo, and just, take advantage of it. You guys can do about that. You never know. See, you guys have, I'll call them a lot of divine appointments. You keep meeting these great people. Now that the water's stirring, hey, take advantage of it. So, and like Chris said, have some video.
But John, you think about this. Say if you put together a concert over there, nice concert, and bring it, well, people get wind of it here in the state, man, you'll start moving right along, just bam, with your music and everything else. Because if you go overseas and do a concert and everything and come back here, hey.
Have David do some rap?
Oh my God. Yeah, this is an amazing idea. When we went to New Zealand and Australia with just my wife and my sister in March 2018, and January 16 had been out for a month, and my wife brought a bunch of CDs and she purchased mailers and sent it out to all the radio stations that she could quickly find on the internet in Sydney, Australia, and in New Zealand. And at least 4 or 5 of them played our music a little bit. And one of them in particular, 2RRR in Sydney, continues to play every time we have a new release. So like you're saying, now that we're meeting these folks in other countries, it would be a good idea to find out what kind of performance opportunities there are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Then it'll flow right back here to the States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm inspired, Joyce, when I see and Gary, I see the performances that you guys are doing in your areas too. That's do you find that to be a bit of hard work to get those gigs?
You mean the live stream?
Well, before COVID, before March 2020,
you would
actually get on-site gigs at clubs or cafes or whatever.
Like you said, it's hard. It's hard to get gigs, because what you realize is there are a lot of talented musicians around, and then it's hard to get good pay. That's why most of my gigs are private gigs, or pursuing corporate, private things of that nature, because. And then what you'll have other musicians who are just as talented and said, I'll do it for less. So it hurts everybody, if you know what I mean. And the union here, somebody told me, because it's a, right to work state, they really can't regulate how much musicians get paid. But I'm a believer, when you walk into a doctor's office, if that consult or that visit is $200, it's going to be $200 here. It's going to be $200 there. Maybe $20 left, or 20 less or more, what have you. And I just wish that we as musicians could come together just like the medical community, because quite frankly, it takes years to get a skill set to be a professional musician, whether you play a wind instrument, a rhythm instrument, or whether you sing, whatever your instrument is. It doesn't happen overnight. And then you have to keep it up, just like a doctor. But for some reason in our profession, why don't you just come and play for tips? Why don't, or if you love it so much, just do it from your heart because but they don't understand that when it's time to record those tracks, it costs a lot to pay your producers, studio time, studio musicians. You have to pay to get copyright. And if you're doing cover tunes, you have to get 3 different licenses that you have to pay for and pay for the cover. And you see it on and on and on. All that to sell each track for 99 cents.
Yeah.
While Spotify, all those up, they're making billions off of our intellectual property, and they can take our property and use it over and over and over and over, so they can get an increase. But yet we're sitting here, and so I say that yeah, it is a struggle. I do better with live performances. That's when I sell CDs. I sell more because I think what happens, you're giving something to people that is not tangible. They appreciate it. And I said, you know what? I want to take a souvenir. Let me buy your CD. I'm going to take that home, autograph it. So it's like you're giving them your heart, and they're like, I want to be able to bless you or help you out or what have you. But yeah, it's a challenge. But I just keep putting stuff out there. And just yesterday or day before yesterday, I got booked for a gig tonight, a private package. So I just keep pushing. I try to.
Let me ask y'all a question, Joyce and John.
All right, just go ahead and interrupt me. Go ahead. No, that's all right. I wasn't finished, but that's somehow. I get to talk.
I got a question.
Okay, where's that? Hold up. Didn't even say excuse me, but that's all right. Go ahead,
Have y'all ever went to a restaurant or a club area and you say you're gonna take the door, then the owner says, well, he's getting food and drink, then he gonna want at least 10 or 15% from the door, and all you getting is the door? Have you had a club owner do that to you?
I've heard of some clubs where they'll say, like, they'll give you a percentage of the bar take, and of course you get to put a tip jar out there, but we've not actually played some of those. I mean, to Joyce's point, I know a Bay Area sax player, he has this mantra a lot in social media, just say no to $50 gigs. But but yeah, you're right, Ray Mac. I mean, some of these clubs, they're offering you just a percentage of whether it's the bar or the door tickets. It's tough. I know that when I went to the NAMM show that they have every year here in Anaheim, and then they have it in Nashville in summer, there was a guy that had a unique model where he's trying to get musicians to sign up, and they're helping you to book you in your local market to get gigs, and then they take they have a subscription fee. So out in our area, Redwood City, Angelica's, the restaurant, may pay them their, I don't know, $100 a year subscription fee to be a member. And then this guy finds the artist and fills their calendar. And then he gives you the full ticketing fee because he's getting his subscription fee from the venue. So these are interesting new models. I know they were test marketing it in the Bay Area, LA, and Nashville. But we'd like to see more of that kind of thing. It might make it easier for musicians to get gigs. But yeah, you're right. It's tough.
It is a tough thing. It really is.
Yeah, because matter of fact, just yesterday, what you're just talking about, me, myself, and Maurice Johnson, which is a guitar player, and we was talking about that. What you just talked about, just said about that. They said that kind of model of doing a prescription and getting all this gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Prescription?
Yeah, a prescription.
Getting meds?
No. Prescription to the artist for like $100.
Prescription.
Whatever.
That's what you get for interrupting me.
Whatever it is.
Okay, let's get to some music, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Thank you, Gris.
Let's do a nice music break and go into some of the bossa nova music. And in fact, I'm gonna kick it off with Fatal Attraction featuring was it Maya Victoria and Matt Black? Is that right?
Little samba there. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do that, and then we'll come back and talk some more. So keep it locked right here on the Indie Live Spot with 510 Jazz right here.
Right here.
Yeah. Are we clear?
She comes from South Texas, I'm from the East Bay. She likes her eggs scrambled, mine over easy. Men are from Mars, well I read that somewhere. No book can tell me where she's coming from. Something about her, it's got me spellbound. Pulled by that magnet, fatal attraction.
I'm slow with romancing, he's in a hurry. I like to take back roads, he likes the fast lane. Look at the stars and enjoy the fresh air. Every day brings a brand new rising sun. Why make it so hard? Relax and slow down. He's just an addict, fatal attraction. No need to hurry. Good things in life are worth the wait.
I'm on a mission. Her charms drive me crazy. Ooh, fatal attraction, fatal attraction. Fatal attraction, fatal attraction. She doesn't go dancing, I must find some way.
He has to slow down and meet me halfway.
Can't go to bars, but there must be somewhere. That place where we can relax and have fun. One day we'll get there, but for the moment, can't kick this habit. Fatal attraction.
what's on our mind. Dinner just for two. You're the perfect day. Let's focus on right now. The rest of it can wait. Let's go on a cruise. Maybe taste some wine. An airplane we can fly. Above the clouds we'll hide. Now I am your gal. Take you by the hand. Together we'll discover life. We've only just begun.
All you need to say are those three little words that come so naturally. Let me hear you say I love you. Three little words.
You're the only one I want next to me. Yeah, we coolin' while we sit by the sea. Come on, blowing kisses like the palms in the trees. Sand in the toast, girl. I think we're made for each other. Each other will reach other pinnacles of life. But first, we need to discover us. Me and you. I think it's time we meet our moms and dads. The way you smile, girl, I don't wanna see you sad. Stay with me, hang, chill, and play with me. One day I can see us in a house, simply yes. See, now we moving up in life. Engaged now, so tomorrow's looking bright with you.
I will sail through life.
Let's sail away.
Forever by your side.
The two of us.
Three little words, girl. I think they're made for all you need to do is love me when I'm with you, baby. And I will love you too. Don't hold back the feeling. I love you. Three little words.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and we have actually gained another guest. As you can see, there's David on the screen.
Hey everyone.
Hey, David.
Welcome.
Hey, David, welcome.
Yeah.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were talking about you when you were gone. So,
Yeah.
All good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
good things.
yeah, all
Yeah,
good.
we love you, David. We don't care what your daddy said about you.
Oh no, you didn't.
You went there, Chris.
That was the bus. He's the best.
And he keeps a straight face.
Yeah.
Did he freeze? Did John freeze?
Rose.
Oh, that's why. I was like, how can he just keep a straight face?
Oh.
Because he's frozen right now.
no.
Aw.
No, it's,
What
I'm
do you
looking
want
at
to do, Gary?
I'm looking at him on my screen here on the Skype. He's not frozen.
There
I'm
he
seeing
is.
waving. But I'm looking over here on these YouTube. He's froze there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Frozen
Yeah.
again.
Well, at least on YouTube, his mouth
Oh,
is
there you
open.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what's been happening?
Oh
Yeah.
man. Nothing much. Just been working hard at work. I'm currently a student at San Jose State University, so classes have started back up, and it's been an interesting transition from going to summer and having time after work to kind of gearing back up and doing homework and doing readings. So it's been an interesting swing, but I've been trying to keep busy writing songs while I have some free time. It's kind of like minutes here and there, but as long as I'm doing a little bit, those minutes will add up into something big, you know, a
Right.
song or whatever it is. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's been it, man. I'm thankful each day's a blessing to be here, and to be on this show again is amazing. Oh my gosh, you guys are always so great to have us, you know, and we love being here.
Aw.
Yeah, man. So you at the library?
Yeah, I work at the
You're a librarian?
I'm going to school to become a librarian. You have to have a master's degree, at least where we're at in California, to be a librarian. So I'm taking classes in children's literature. So I have assignments on writing book reviews. So I'm reading picture books and board books for like the smallest children and doing reviews on them. and I have another class on making like technical documents for people to for the staff to use, like how-to documents and things like that.
Wow.
So those are my 2 classes. It's been fun. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Okay.
So you're pursuing a quiet place to work, right?
Yeah. You know, for the longest time, that's most the impression when people come, before we sheltered in place and closed the library doors. So many people thought the library, about half our people thought it should be a quiet place, and we're inviting people to have conversations at a normal level, and there's the kind of juxtaposition of like what's right and what's wrong, and so we're having to constantly encourage the growth mindset for people that are so used to the silent libraries that they want everyone shushing the people that are talking, that no, this is everyone's space. It's like a community space now. You know, people can talk and you can be on your cell phone, etc. But there's a lot of cool things that happen, and you meet a lot of neat people at the library too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can understand that. Yeah, man, you just a bookworm, huh?
Slowly but surely.
Grabbing all that knowledge, man.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Or,
Then
yeah.
you writing raps and have all the rappers spitting out them lyrics.
You know, increasing your vocabulary by reading definitely helps your music writing. You're using new words that you may not have used before, and it's been neat. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
That's
So you're
cool.
rapping words that we have to look up in the dictionary.
No, I'm not that complex yet, but
Like
you
we're going to a
know,
spin-
hopefully someday that would be the goal. That'd be really
But I
cool.
think you should. I think
Yeah.
that because a lot of people, rap used to be for the kids, but now it's moved up because those kids are grown up now.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah.
And I think it would be a great way to teach, because it's always amazing to me how a kid will have trouble learning history or whatever, but they can memorize
Oh
a
my
rap
God.
song. And wouldn't it be great to have rap songs that are teaching, and do it in a way they don't know that they're being taught new words, as opposed to singing some of these rap lyrics that can get suspended from school for saying.
Right. Some of the raps,
Rap
content
is
I'm
cool,
hearing.
but I mean, it could teach history. Rap
Yeah.
could teach new words. It could teach sentence structure. How is it in the old English, you guys? We used to write those diagrams to learn the sentence structure. You could use rap to do that. Tell them where the direct object goes, and you know what a verb is, and you know stuff like that.
What is a gerund?
Huh?
What is a gerund? Gerund, anything that ends in ing is a gerund. You never heard that before?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry. She looked at me. I ain't never heard that.
A gerund. Okay.
Learning
Look it
things.
up.
Great point.
How do you spell it, Mac?
Just look it up.
Well, I can look at something that I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna tell you what they
Because
look
I'm
it up.
sharing over here. He said, look at
It's
us.
an ing, right? So we're just wondering.
That's it.
What?
Yeah, anything that's ing. Got your nouns, pronouns, and verbs, adverbs, and all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even your cousin threw you some shade. He says, "Come on, cuz, just a bookworm."
My cousin
Mark.
also.
Yeah. Hey, so David, for the ones that don't know, tell our listeners a little bit about your rap history, because you did a lot of rap music and stuff before you conjoined with your dad on a lot of his projects, and so I know you got a nice history there, and then of course up to now you're actually doing some Christian rap now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of let everybody know, because a lot of people are pretty curious about that.
Oh, absolutely. Great question. I started listening to hip hop. Oh, it's so funny. So growing up, I started listening to R&B. I looked up to a lot of like cousins that were playing like the R&B artists of maybe the mid '90s, like Boyz II Men or TLC. And so I got some of the first Boyz II Men albums, and I loved them. And then I started hearing on the radio, Puff Daddy was really popular at the time.
Yeah.
Not laughing because he's amazing, but
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I was able to somehow convinced my mom to buy me the Puff Daddy album at 12 or 13 years old. This is like the explicit version. So my mom didn't know. So I had a Walkman, a CD player in my room, and speakers. And she came in one day and she heard all the swear words. And she was furious. And she goes, "What do you mean I bought this for you?" It's so funny. But I kept listening to the music, and I don't know. The rhythms and the rap, how they complemented each other, kind of resonated with me.
Right.
So I remember shortly after that, I kind of came full circle because she bought me a Christian rap album right after the Puff Daddy one. I think
We're gonna get that devil out of you.
You ain't nothing but a heat to that music.
Yeah. So, but I kept listening to hip hop, and then I listened to a lot of hip hop locally, a lot of Bay Area hip hop musicians. And then when I was in college, I was hearing a lot of the songs on the radio, and I thought, these songs aren't that complex. They're catchy, but the wordplay and the content's not that complex. I think I could write my own music. So I think it was 2007 or 2008. I started writing my own rap, and it just happened to be that my best friend was composing instrumentation with some of the musical software programs. So we tried to take the lyrics and then put it to the beat that he was making. And we had so much fun doing that. I would spend hours doing it. I'd just get lost in learning. And I felt like, wow, this is something that I'm really passionate about, and I think this is something I want to pursue. Up to that, I was playing a lot of basketball. I was just like this sports kid, and I loved playing sports, but this became like my second love. If basketball was my first love, music was my second. Yeah. And then I just kind of slowly started to shift interests or shift gears from sports to writing songs. And gosh, I wrote several albums leading up to the first Asa 510 album by 510 Jazz. And I just had so much fun doing it. And to me, the best part for me was collaborating with people, seeing what different musicians would bring to the table in the evolution process of the song. And I'm still kind of in that mode right now. One other thing I fell in love with along the journey is just the art of recording and the art of balancing the different sounds and mixing. That's become another big passion of mine. So that's a little bit of my journey.
Right, because I was just gonna say, you've really come a long ways. You've really done an amazing job on the project because
thank you.
Yeah, it sounds so great. I mean, everything is just. The sound is just awesome, and when you deal, and that's a really, really tedious job, especially when you have to deal with real musicians. You know what I'm saying? Real instruments and all that stuff, recording all that stuff. You're doing an excellent job. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought your passion was
being some of your Christian rap.
Yeah, my latest project is on Spotify. It's called "Expect the Worst, Pray for the Best." By D-Varg, D-V-A-R-G. But that was super fun, and it was such because I feel like I think a lot of people will relate to this, but creating music and your performance is such a spiritual performance. Like you're really putting yourself out there, and it just takes it to a whole nother level when you're doing it for what you believe in. And, for me, being a Christian hip-hop artist, doing it for God, doing it for Jesus, it's been a real neat journey. It really has. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. People don't realize that whether you are performing gospel Christian or secular, and the reason why I do this because it all belongs to God. It's always spiritual.
Yeah.
Classical music is spiritual to me. It is always spiritual. I can listen to one of mine is Saint-Saëns, I think is how it's pronounced. One of the French 5 composers, and he has some stuff that is just so beautiful that I feel like that I'm resting in the in a garden of God's green creation, if you know what I mean. It's just such a peaceful flow. So it's all spiritual, even when the music is relating. The lyrics could be just something about life challenges, and it may come across as raw, but somebody can identify with that and say, hey, I can identify with that. And it's nice knowing that somebody else can and relate to you. So, it's all spiritual to me. Well, it all belongs to God. I would love to hear you live on the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever when shows can open back up, we like to do some live shows.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask you guys. So, there in California, I mean, because I know it's everywhere, and everybody's kind of dealing with it differently. But how is the COVID thing affecting everybody? I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, is it getting worse or is it starting to decline? Where people are trying to come up with ways maybe to get out. I mean, I know it's a tough thing. I know it's people trying to get the kids back to school and all that good stuff. So, but I was just kind of curious in your areas how things were.
Yeah, I think here in the Bay Area, in the San Francisco Bay Area, I know a lot of the schools are doing distance learning. There may be some. I think some are thinking about opening it back up for maybe a hybrid approach. But I know since school started, like the public schools in late August, and I think a lot of them are doing the distance learning.
Yeah.
I was hearing recently on the news that maybe about a week ago, they finally allowed beauty salons to at least do outdoor operations. Same thing with gyms. Like if you wanted to go to a gym, it's outdoor. There's still all the essential like grocery and gas and banks that are open for business. You know, you got to wear we have the mask mandate. I have my mask. I was wearing my mask when I first came on. At work, when I'm in the open air, when I'm not in a closed room, I have to wear the mask the whole time.
Right.
For 8 hours. That took a little while to get used to.
Yeah.
They only breathe them things to be so hot up under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been an adjustment for everybody on every level, whether it's business wearing masks for a long time. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, if you're outside and the mask gets hot, separate yourself from the group, give yourself a break, and then come back. The thing is, I think people are misunderstanding. It's all a matter of trying to protect each other.
Right.
And because I have seen some videos of people losing their minds. I mean, they're just, I mean, we can get upset and go, oh, this gets on my nerves, but I got to do it. But no, this is not that. These are people this one lady was just taking the masks at a Target. There was a rack. She was taking each one and just throwing them on the floor. She was on a rage. And a man at Walmart was screaming to the top of his lungs and screaming. And it's, I feel for people, not only, the healthcare workers, bless you, and these businesses that are having to tell people, I'm sorry, you can't come in here without a mask, because some of them will lose their minds. And I witnessed a man push a woman down so hard she hit the floor. Oh.
Well, they was already disturbed. The ones you talking about.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you, Mac. To get that angry to that point, I mean, even a man stabbed. He didn't want to wear his mask. Stabbed. I think it's in Detroit somewhere. A man was killed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because he asked him to put his mask on, and he killed him.
Yeah.
And to me, really, just take a deep breath. I know it's inconvenient. You have to think, because you go to the store, now you have to think. I was going down an aisle, and I don't go out much. And I went, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me back up. And the lady said, oh, it's okay. I said, no, 6 feet. I'm out. You leave this aisle, I'll come in.
Yeah. Good for you.
I had a guy come up to me so close, I just turned around and looked at him. Didn't say a word. He edged on back.
I know. Mac can pop them eyes out like nobody. How do you do those eyes, Mac? You know how you lean up.
I look over these glasses and fold them eyes like that.
I'm sorry, Mac. I would have backed up too. I'm like, oh.
You back up, you ain't got to say a word.
I mean, sometimes people forget because we're adjusting. But how are the musicians adjusting? You guys are in that circle, or are the clubs opening up? Or are they doing a live streaming? What are you guys doing?
I can tell you about one in particular. There's a little club. It's actually like a beer club called the Bistro in Hayward, where David lives, and they're starting to have socially distanced performances where they're on this 2-lane street, and so on one side where the actual club is, the musicians will be like 6 feet apart out on the sidewalk, and then across the street, the patrons, apparently someone carries their orders over to them, and they're watching it being socially distanced. But it's, and that kind of thing, Joyce, you may be used to having like 30 people in your audience there. Maybe you can only have 10, and they won't allow more people until, someone leaves. But I'm starting to see a few things in like Facebook where various musicians we know are doing some things like that. And of course, there's a few of them that are still doing the free performances, like in someone's backyard where neighbors will walk in just because they want to get together and do a socially distanced performance. But it's changing every day, I think.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to figure it out. Tony Exum Jr. out of Colorado Springs, we're going to do in my backyard a social distance show, live stream. We just have to set a date. So when he reached out to me, he said, I saw you do that backyard thing. That's so cool. I need a reason to go to Texas. I said, all right, then. That's all you have to say. Yeah, but we are trying to be creative. I think what as artists, and I had to just resolve that and do things by faith, and because your thing is that because we don't like to fail, nobody does. Then I have to say, well, if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out, and I'll move on. And because like one promoter was really upset. He didn't even want to call me, I think, and to say, oh, the festival in November, it had been postponed to November. He said, we just can't do it. I said, you know what, I'm cool. And I made him laugh about it. I said, why are you so upset? He said, well, I said, I think you just need to calm down. Yeah. This is where we are right now. Yeah. And I do understand because every now and then when you feel that rising up, you got to go, okay, all right, let's just settle down. Now if I could just stop eating so much.
What? Joyce, real quick. Enjoyed the show that you did the live stream on Wednesday. And that last song that you did, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. The one that you wrote about your
yeah, You Touched My Life.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You Touched My Life. I wrote that a long time ago. And I want to remix that one. I want to re-record it. But I wrote that. That's a song I wrote in 10.
Yeah, when you're saying like, okay, I'm not crying.
I'm
about missing your loved ones, and when I wrote the lyrics and I was up my keyboard, that's a song I wrote in about 15 minutes.
Wow.
And it's touching deep. It touches your soul. It's like telling God, the one you brought to my life, you've taken away, and just, a memory of people that you love. You touch my life. You touch my heart. You touch my life. Now your memory lives on in me. And I said.
And also because I had on Monday, I had just posted, a picture of my dad because he passed away back in 1990. It was his birthday on September 1st. Yeah. And so it just, when I heard this, I'm like, oh no. It's like I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry.
I have to literally shut myself down. When,
I can imagine because you wouldn't be able to get to that song.
I wouldn't get because let me go through this song real quick. I might do this tonight, see if I remember the lyrics. And I stopped and started crying because the verse when it said, "You're my grandma, my grandpa, my mama, my daddy, my sister, my uncle, my auntie," and I just went every one of them, and I'm writing. And then when we went, because my auntie said, I need you to do a song that gives tribute to our family that passed away at the reunion. It was in California. And I said, dang, let me just write something. And I did a really terrible recording because I'm not an engineer. And I sang it, and I looked up, and everybody was like,
crying.
My cousin said, hey, I'm a thug, cuz, and you made me cry.
Let me ask you a question, man. I need to ask this question. What do y'all think is going to happen if this thing carry out in 2021 and 2022? Because what's happening now, if it's happening 2 years later, then what?
Yeah. And saying also, I was going to add to that. I was going to ask both David and John, have y'all considered maybe trying to get some of your band members together and maybe come together at a place and do a live stream concert or something like that? Because I'm sure a lot of people would enjoy it, you guys, because you guys are so good and everything.
David talks a lot about it to me, coming up with these ideas. So yeah, he's definitely mentioned it several times. We need to do that and talk to some of these musicians. I think, especially now, since we don't have to compete with the great paying gigs that they're getting all over like they were getting before March 2020. So
Right.
what do you think, David? I think you had some good ideas about that.
Yeah, I was hoping to get together, even for recording with other people outdoors, exploring the great outdoors.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like Ray was saying, we don't know when the all clear is going to happen. Does it happen with the vaccine? Does it happen overnight? Just magically, poof, it's gone.
Right.
But yeah, you gotta adapt. So,
Yeah.
just overcome, and then it's the new normal. Just changing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal, you have to adapt. That's where we are right now. So
Hell, I don't already adapt. I'm moving on with it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do
And
what
this
I
was
need.
also, I wanted to ask too. Do you guys happen to know what is that program that I've been seeing some of these collaborators and stuff doing their like a pre-recorded session, but they're all synced together, but you can see them all on different squares, kind of like what we are on Zoom or on Skype, where you can see them play and they're all playing synchronized. Do y'all happen to know what they're using on that? I was just curious.
David told me about a program. We actually tried it a bit, although I've heard that it does best when you have a direct Ethernet connection. David, do you remember what that application was called? It was pretty cool.
I forgot what it was called, but it was like this website that you log into and you all play, because we tried syncing up on Zoom, and the synchronization was always off.
Was it?
Right?
Yeah. It never worked out.
Zoom can't handle that one.
Oh,
Yeah. Right.
But if you notice on Facebook, when you're watching someone live stream, there is a feature that you can click and ask. Like when JJ was performing, I watched him live, and I said, "What is this feature?" And I just clicked. I'm so glad it didn't go directly to him, but it said, "Ask JJ to join him." I went, "Oh no." That's not how you do it.
Yeah.
But I want to try that. I told my husband, I want to try it and see how that works. But again, it may be like Zoom, where it's not with delay, and also, like Gary was talking about, separate instruments. You really need to hear so you can stay in key. When the instruments, you could be playing with somebody and you could be flat and not realize it.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about stuff like that. But I'm like Gary. I've seen it and it works, and they sound great doing it.
And I think the way
I just found this one is called Jam Kazam. That's the one that David told me about, and we've actually tried it a little bit. It doesn't work very well with Wi-Fi, but it's JAMKAZAM, and right now it's free. I think eventually they want to go to a subscription model, but it does a really good job of bringing everybody together, and it records things, and so you can download the stems or you can download the mixed audio, and it'll let you turn on your cameras or turn it off. But as long as you can plug an Ethernet cable to that computer that's connected up to JamKazam, it works much better. Wi-Fi, it's kind of spotty, but the neat thing is there's a community of JamKazam musician members out there, and they're all sitting out there just stepping in. As long as like you'll put, if you have an open session, and you'll put if anybody can drop in or not. As long as you have it set for an open session. I've done that where I've dropped in and sang vocals with a couple of these little jazz sessions, and it's a lot of fun until the equipment starts failing because I have a crappy Wi-Fi connection. But it's fun to try, and I know there's some better tools like JamKazam that are much better that cost money, like like $40 a month or something.
Yeah.
But JamKazam is neat because it's free right now, and David found that one. It was kind of fun to try it out.
I wrote it down. I'll check it out.
Well, at least I got a Ethernet connection. I got that. That Wi-Fi ain't about nothing too much.
I want to thank you all for having me. I gotta get back to work right now.
All right,
okay, David. Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
David.
David, I understand.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good to see you. You take care. Okay.
I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.
All right.
God
Bye.
bless.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he was able to join.
Oh yeah.
I am.
We are too.
It was nice to see a smile again.
Yeah. Yeah, he's hosting a birthday party for my daughter. His little sister had her birthday yesterday, and so he came up with of let's rent the new movie Mulan, because she, as a child, she loved all those Disney movies. So we're gonna rent the Mulan at his house and have some snacks and things. Should be fun. Yeah.
Live action one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
I think it just came out yesterday or something. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that one.
All right. Well, let's get a couple more tracks in right quick before we
Yes.
wrap things up for today, and then we'll come back. Okay? Sounds good to you?
Yep.
Okay. In
Yep,
fact,
yep.
I think what we'll do this time, John, we're gonna go into, because we did. Oh yeah, we did. We already played Fatal Attraction, of course, and then we played actual Summer Rain too, and Little Words. So we're gonna do Call to Sea and Back Home.
Cool.
Back Home. So let's do that, and then we'll come back. So everybody, we'll be right back. Keep it locked right here on the Indie Live Spot.
I tried to tell ya. Ooh. I never seem to make you happy. I gave you all I had to give. You never had a love story. Through the years, you took me for granted. A love like mine will never come again. I gave and gave until the very end, and now it's gone. You couldn't comprehend it, no. Why are we called to the edge of the sea, like a moth to a flame? Why am I dreaming of sand dunes and feel the surf spray? Are you feeling the same? I spent my life never more than an hour away from the crash of the waves. Wake to the cry of the seagulls, they're calling my name. Is it nature's refrain?
18 and thinking to myself, time to leave home. I can't help but wonder if I could have stayed. Though I left it all behind and life had gotten easier, something that keeps calling me back to where I'm from. As the years go speeding by, that place is now more distant. Building a new family and a whole new life. Though it's not so far from here, my heart tells me to stay away. Every day is calling me back home. Said goodbye, but it was not forever. I have found this place in my heart, but I had to go. It's a new dawn, and views are different now. It's today, on my way, time to go back home. After all this time, I have arrived, a faded ranch house. When I ring the doorbell, will they welcome me? Everyone's so glad I'm here, telling me their stories. Now I'm feeling life is good, good to be back home. Said goodbye, but it was not forever. I have felt this place in my heart, but I had to go. It's a new dawn, and views are different now. It's today, on my way, time to go back home. After all this time, I have arrived, a faded ranch house. When I ring their doorbell, will they welcome me? Everyone's so glad I'm here, telling me their stories. Now I'm feeling life is good, good to be back home.
Hi, I'm John Vargas, and I'm a singer-songwriter. My love for the bossa nova started as a young child, where I recall Jobim's Girl from Ipanema was playing on all of the radio stations. It was everywhere. In my 20s, I found an independent radio station that was playing classic Brazilian bossa nova. It was pure delight discovering the songs of the most popular bossa nova artists from the 1950s and 60s. In 2013, my son David and I began composing our own bossa nova songs for release on our 510 Jazz albums and singles. I read a superb book from author Rui Castro, which tells the story of the bossa nova founders like Antonio Carlos Jobim, Vinicius de Moraes, Elis Regina, Roberto Menescal, and so many others. Their songs tell stories of the simple pleasures in life, like sun, sand, and sea. These songs possess such exquisite musicality with an air of elegance and simplicity. Amid these legendary musicians is João Gilberto. He started singing popular songs in the early 50s and then spent several years experimenting with his guitar, developing that classic bossa nova sound. In 2019, we decided to release an album entirely comprised of this sound. We dedicate this album to the pioneers of the world's most beautiful musical genre, the bossa nova.
Hello, I'm David Vargas, also known as D-Varg from all the 510 Jazz albums. I'm a rapper, a songwriter, and a music engineer. I've listened to bossa nova as far back as I can remember. Memories from my childhood come to mind as my father John would sing and listen to Antonio Carlos Jobim tunes. What's striking to me is how my journey has come full circle. It's really been a blessing from God to work on bossa nova originals with my father, John Vargas, my family members, and of course all the stellar musicians who breathe musical life into our lyrics and melodies. From acoustic nylon to the electric guitar, flute, strings, keys, vibes, drums, sax, and percussion, all nicely intertwined creatively working together. Not to mention the singers who constantly inspire and champion bossa nova with us, each musician adding their own flair and style. This is bossa nova, how it should be, and this is our album. This is your album, a musical representation. This is the bossa nova.
I can't be sleepy. I got a gig.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back and about ready to wrap things up, but I wanted to let you hear some more of that wonderful music from 510 Jazz, and of course our guest John Vargas is here still, and we did get to talk to David a little bit earlier, and so that's a wonderful thing, and Ray stepped out of his chair, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, where did he go?
I don't know.
Chris, did you mute him again?
I was busy on Facebook, so I wasn't.
Oh man, but yeah, that was some beautiful music there. I tell you, the whole project is great, John.
I'm glad you like
Really
it.
love
Thank
it.
you.
Really love it. And but what we one thing I want you to do, John, before we wrap things up here, let everybody know how they can follow a lot of the things that you guys are doing and keep up with your music, because it's good. I know you probably have some great places people can surf the net and catch up on some of the great things that you're doing there with the.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can find us on, of course, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. But basically, if you just go to 510jazz.com, we have links to the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Twitter. And of course, we have the direct links to your favorite, many of your favorite streaming platforms, about 10 of them. So when we digitally release the music, the distributor always gives us, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Deezer, etc. There's about 10 different platforms. So we hope that you would enjoy either downloading or going out to those streams and listening to the music. So that's basically it. Just follow us there, and any upcoming shows that we'll get into or anything like that, we'll be mentioning it on the website and on those social networks as well. So 510jazz.com.
Awesome. And for those Grammy members out there, please go vote for 510 Jazz. You got quite a few entries there, so all of
And
it.
for Gary Fuston as well.
Yes.
Yeah, luckily I was able to get one in there that John helped me with, which is great. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Say, John, let me ask you this. Have you tried Southwest by Southwest?
South by Southwest in Austin. Oh my God, I want to go. Yeah, I was thinking about it for this year, and then COVID shut it down. Isn't it always in April, I think, in Austin?
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. Yeah.
They were one of the first major festivals to cancel.
Yeah. Then they have Northwest by Northwest also.
Huh.
They have another called Northwest by Northwest. I think it's around Minnesota or somewhere in that area.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, North by North. Northwest by Northwest. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea. But yeah, I definitely want to go to Austin. I heard it's a lovely city and that show is legendary. It's not a very old show. It's only maybe 10 years that they've been doing it, but it's legendary. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you come to Austin, yeah. Come on.
I come visit you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Those Grizzlies really not that far from Austin.
All right, 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's time for us to wrap things up. But again, we want to thank. We want to thank. Yeah, we want to thank both.
I'm talking. You run your mouth now, Chris.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much, John, and also David. We want to thank you both from representing 510 Jazz, coming through, letting us know what's happening, and of course, you can always definitely come back anytime. We definitely look forward to that, and we hope all this COVID stuff hurry up and gets out of here so we can all get back to normal way of doing things, how we used to. I know it's everybody's saying a new normal, but hopefully we can get back to another
Our original normal.
yeah, our original normal, hopefully.
Or better one.
Yes. Yeah, or a better one yet. Absolutely. And
I don't adapt.
But
I also got to say that I'm really thrilled that all the folks that came into the chat room. I've been trying to watch it here on my smartphone, but it's not working for me. But I know that a lot of folks are out there, a lot of people that David and I really look up to, musicians, music lovers, other people in the music industry. So I can't thank you guys enough for coming to the show today. And thanks so much to Gary, Grizz, Ray Mack, and Joyce for doing what they do every week here on the Indie Live Spot.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
All right. Well, everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. A lot of people that work like me and stuff, we get an extra day off, so that's great. Definitely looking forward to that.
Like, yay!
Yes, absolutely. And definitely please join us here, same time, same place next week. Now, we do have a special Labor Day show that we're going to do on Labor Day this coming Monday. Actually, we're going to be doing a celebration of a new single release from Costella, and it's also her birthday also as well. So we're gonna.
And Gary's.
Well, yeah, mine's tomorrow actually. Yeah. Mine's actually on Sunday, and hers is on the 7th. So it'd be a great thing to celebrate both of our birthdays. So, and anybody else who have celebrating September birthdays, come over and join us this Monday, okay? And then other than that, I think I want everybody to have a safe and enjoyable weekend. And I'll pass it over to Grizz, Ray, and Joyce. Take us out, and we'll get out of here. And again, John, thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John. See you guys Monday.
All right.
Chris.
That's it, Ray? That's all you're going to say?
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, hey,
You had to say something, Chris.
hey, David, my cousin. I'm glad you came in. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll give you a call out to the show. See you later. Bye.
Okay. Okay, everyone, have a great Labor Day weekend. Enjoy, be safe, stay hydrated. Don't forget, Monday, join us at 2:00 Central, 3 Eastern, for the the single release for Costella and her birthday. And we're also celebrating Gary's at the same time. So join us then. Okay. And on next week, Saturday, our guest will be keyboardist Gail Johnson.
All right.
Yay!
Miss Gail.
That
Go, Gail.
is all her. So we're going to have her on next week, Saturday. So join us for both Monday, our special show, and next week, Saturday.
All right.
All right. So invite friends, join us, and we'll see you then.
All right.
Ciao.
Sounds good. We'll see you everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Fatal attraction, fatal attraction, attraction.
as I watch the raindrops fall. See the dark clouds drifting overhead. I'm swaying in the breeze, the rainbow lines the sky. Thunder booming in the distance, see the far off lightning. Feel the static in the air, still I can't look away. Summer rain. A rain squall comes in with the onshore breeze. I sit on my lanai and listen to the song of the raindrops dancing